A lack of accountability continues to plague the Department of Veterans Affairs. And it all came to a head in a House committee hearing. Chairman Jeff Miller says enough is enough.
They can't budget right, they can't allocate dollars right, they can't do their job right, and I am not going to protect poor-performing employees at the Department of Veterans Affairs. There's some rotten people that work in the department that need to be fired, not protected. The veterans deserve better. The status quo doesn't work. Are you going to stand with the veterans or the bureaucrats?
A very passionate plea right there. After that, the committee passed a bill to make it easier to fire incompetent government employees. But the real House vote for the full House is not until next week. And unions are now doing everything they can to stop this bill. Major Pete Hegseth of Concerned Veterans for America, Fox News contributor, joins us live now. You heard Republican Jeff Miller. He was fired up. Pete, you sound pretty fired up as well about the unions trying to block this bill.
Absolutely right. It is put up or shut up time in the House, and it will be soon. This is a bill that simply gives the VA Secretary the ability to fire bad employees. All the scandals, all the things that we've covered here on Fox and Friends, I mean, we know how bad the department is. Now they've got a moment. They've got a moment to finally vote to bring real accountability to the VA. And what you have is a party line vote in the House Vets Affairs Committee. Jeff Miller did an amazing job, impassioned job, but the vote ultimately was 14 Republicans for, 10 Democrats against, and the only reason they voted against, the only reason is because the public employee unions, the American Federation for Government Employees, has secretly been working behind the scenes to get them to move against this bill. So when they had a chance to vote for accountability at the VA, instead they voted against, and they bowed to the union pressure.
Pete, you're very passionate about it. I want to show our viewers in stark terms who's for this bill and who's against it. Now, on the left side of the screen, you see all of these veterans organizations that are supporting this, from Vietnam Vets of America, Veterans of Foreign Wars. They're all supporting it. On the right side, the only one supporting it is the government employee unions. Does that not tell you what's at stake here?
It tells you everything you need to know. American Legion, VFW, Vietnam Vets for America, Iraq and Afghanistan Vets for America, AMVETS, every single one. Look at that entire list. It's embarrassing. On the other side, the only one, American Federation for Government Employees. And they can't even come out publicly against this. They're working behind the scenes against these members, trying to remind them who writes the checks, who will ultimately be for or against them. And there's some members really here who should be really ashamed. Folks like Tim Walz and Beto O'Rourke and others who could have gone the right way. And they're not anti-veteran, but when they had a moment to cast that deciding or important vote, they didn't. We'll see where they go next week when it goes to the House.
Pete Hegseth naming names this morning on Fox and Friends. Big vote in the House next week. We'll see how it turns out. Thanks for joining us.
You got it. Ed, thanks a lot.
Coming up, it's never happened before.